one of the things that I'm reminded of is that when we did a lot of the training, and these were people, as you will recall, who were managers on the DC floors. Sometimes they were forklift drivers, sometimes they were pickers and sorters. They often said to us, in fact, not often, I think every time, they said, please won't you train our bosses?
Yeah.
And I thought that was very revealing, because they understood what we were saying about the products that they were handling.
Yeah.
But they then understood that what the decisions that were made by the management often weren't the right decisions.
They're not aligned to the knowledge.
They're not aligned to the knowledge.
Yeah. It was very interesting, spending those times training staff, because often that training took place late at night, because that's the night shift. They work certain times of the day. So lots of words of wisdom came out. And what always fascinated me, I always used to break these sessions up in today and tomorrow, and how today stimulates the thoughts that come out tomorrow. So people will say, well, what about this? And what about this? I noticed this, I noticed that. And the one thing that came back very strongly was the example of your refrigerator at Christmas. So if you have a big family gathering and you have a refrigerator or two, which is normally for your family, suddenly it's getting stacked with beers and all sorts of things, and the refrigerator just can't keep up. But one of the elements that they didn't recognize as important is how many times you open the door. Because every time you open the door, the cold air drops out of it, and then it has to start from scratch again.
Or they put something extra in.
Or warm things get put in amongst the cold things. And I always, I could see the nodding going on. And geez, we had a Christmas like that. It was a disaster. And then the one guy piped and said, no, we don't do that. We get ice and water. We put everything into a big bath type thing, and then everybody's
keep it cold like that. Yeah.
Says you can have Christmas and the food might not be that cold, but gee, if your beers aren't cold, you have a major problem. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, very insightful for us.
Yeah.
And particularly, I remember one where we had to start at midnight.
Yeah.
And I was grizzly as anything over having to do that.
No, you did all right. You did all right. Yeah.
Yeah, those were in Johannesburg. But what were some of the other learnings we got out of those interactions? The meat. We were going to talk about the meat.
Yeah.
And the handling of the meat, and not appreciating that the very thin steaks heat up very quickly, for example.
Yeah.
And they maybe place them on those display things, but the display things aren't at the right temperature.
I think the fundamental thing was to understand that meat is dead.
Yeah.
There's no metabolism whatsoever. And therefore organisms are jumping onto it to make it rot. And the only defense we have between rotting meat and meat fit to eat is cold chain. So, if you think about it, what we do is we basically make the bugs or the microbes so cold they can't multiply, and they actually their metabolism just slows down, and therefore they can't effectively rot it, and you then extend the life significantly. I still remember this one example of a retailer in South Africa that had special minus 1.5 degrees centigrade chillers for the meat, because in that chiller it could last 3 months.
Minus 1.5, really?
Yeah, minus 1.5. Yeah. Anything you go upwards from there, there's still some bug activity.
But it wasn't frozen yet.
No, it wasn't frozen. It was still chilled. In fact, the American legislation determined that -9 is still considered fresh.
Really?
Yeah. So it's only -10 and above that becomes frozen. Although
or below.
Or below, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And you had that other example of one microbe at 20 degrees centigrade.
Yes.
Will multiply to something like 4 million within
minutes.
2 hours or something.
Yeah.
Just extraordinary.
The ability to multiply.
Multiplication.
Yeah.
And that's why things go off so quickly.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is just not as though they don't multiply one by one. So
Yes.
1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4,
Yeah,
4
yeah. So
becomes
it's
16,
exponential
16 becomes
multiplication.
225. So
Yeah. Yes.
that's why the numbers get
Just explode.
so quickly, they just run up. And it's basically our battle between the microbes and the humans, and who gets to the meat first. So the meat,
Mm.
humans want to get there first. Some humans want their meat a little bit sort of more mature, so they'll sacrifice some to the bugs. But at the end of the day, there's a point of no return where you'll lose the meat quality completely if you don't do that. So there's some other techniques that people use. So some people dry their meat. We call it biltong, and they dry it because below a certain percentage of humidity, what will happen is that you don't have the bugs can't feed on it. The bugs need humidity to feed on, and if you make it dry enough,
And salty enough.
yeah, but that's almost to protect it while it's still
Mm.
drying out.
Mm.
So you remember that one guy explained to us that there's a pellicle that forms
Mm.
on the outside, like a skin. Once the skin is formed, and you normally do that through salt water and vinegar, and once that is formed, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine from there on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't rot when it gets to. And those are age-old methods if you think about it. In all societies, people used to dry meat. But cold chain is today the way we deal with it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else there.